All right, folks, time for our second hour of NewsOne Now. Shelly, go to my iPad. This is today's New York Daily News. This is their front page. Screw you and the horse you rode in on. Teen Loving Moore loses Alabama race and big blow to Trump. That pretty much sums it up. Of course, last night, Doug Jones beats Roy Moore to fill the remaining 2 years of the Senate seat of Jeff Sessions, who became Attorney General. Of course, black folks turned out in massive numbers to lead him to victory. This is Doug Jones speaking last night at his rally.
Now I just don't know what the hell to say. I have always believed that the people of Alabama had more in common than to divide us. At the end of the day, this entire race has been about dignity and respect. Alabama has been at a crossroads. We have been at crossroads in the past. And unfortunately, we have usually taken the wrong fork. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, you took the right road.
All right, folks. Again, amazing victory last night. When you look at the numbers, black women, 98% of black women turned out for Doug Jones, 92% of black men. And in fact, they exceeded the percentage of the electorate. It was even higher than when President Barack Obama ran in 2008 and 2012. 2008, 29% of the Alabama electorate was African-American, 28% in 2012. Last night, early exit polls show 30% of the electorate African-American. On the phone lines right now, Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr., founder of Rainbow Push Coalition. Reverend Jackson, welcome back to the show. 1984, 1988, you run for president, sign up millions of people all across the South. It was your campaign in 1984 that created the opportunity for Richard Shelby to become the United States Senator, a Democrat elected. Narrow win in Alabama in 1986. Of course, he rewarded the party by flipping to the Republican side in 1994. The model is there. When you turn out black people will turn you out.
Well, Roland, the fact of the matter is that happened with Sanford in North Carolina in 86, Graham in Florida in 86, and Brewer in Louisiana in 86, as well as Shelby in Alabama, and Cranston in California. When blacks move in great numbers, we alter the equation. All of those ex-slave states have that kind of racial power. Last night, 1 of every 3 votes were black in the victory last night. Acknowledge very much that in Virginia, 1 of every 4 votes were African American. So when we vote, when we vote, we celebrate. We don't vote, we cry. So let's celebrate.
And Reverend, moving forward, I made this point earlier. This is also a lesson for white Democrats. They've got to get some courage and some heart and not be afraid to run. Look, just a few years ago, Jeff Sessions ran unopposed in Alabama, winning 97% of the vote. You don't have a shot at winning. You don't have a shot at mobilizing, organizing people if you don't run.
Well, also, there is a tug of war in the South today. And that tug of war is, on the one hand, winning for us is when Auburn and Alabama played the big ball game together. That could have happened 50 years ago. You wouldn't have had Mercedes-Benz and Honda and Toyota down there had we not won the civil rights victories. And even now, the Democrats have been too afraid. And my concern is that treating us as we're toxic. Republicans want to nullify our vote. Democrats want to distance themselves from it. When we vote, we change the equation. That's what happens now. That can happen. Surely that can happen in Mississippi. We won Mississippi in 84 and 88. We won Virginia. We won Louisiana. In the South, the potential is that if we come alive and vote our numbers and vote our hopes, between the black vote, a few progressive votes in late, but we can win the South. We can win the whole South.
Reverend, last question for you before I go to my next guest. You've got Stacey Abrams. Of course, she is running for the Democratic nominee for governor in Georgia. You've got some 800,000 unregistered African Americans and Latinos in that state. You made the point last year, even in Virginia. Bottom line is, if African Americans are able to drive their numbers up, it doesn't matter in a lot of places what white voters do. If they stay the same, black turnout could be the difference to winning in many places on the local and state level.
Roland, in Alabama, 908,000 blacks are eligible to vote. 700,000 are registered. Those are huge numbers. In Georgia, 500,000 blacks unregistered. Huge number. In South Carolina last year, we lost the governor's race by Nikki Haley by 60,000 votes to 400,000 blacks who registered who did not vote. Across the South, these numbers exist, and it's important that we count our numbers, and then cite the issues that neutralize some intimacy. Alabama is sending back $3 billion a year for affordable health care money. If we run the right kind of race, we cannot be resistant on the football field or on the political field. Last night was a big victory because they said Jefferson County not coming. I knew the victory was ours. We worked last year in black colleges registering voters. Last week it was about turning the voters out. We registered voters last year.
Reverend Jackson, we certainly appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Roland. Roland, can I just say quickly, there's a black lieutenant governor in Virginia, lieutenant governor in New Jersey, a state Supreme Court justice in Alabama. We keep winning when we keep voting. If you vote, you celebrate. If you don't vote, you cry. Let's vote and celebrate.
All right, Reverend Jackson, thanks a lot. Joining us right now is Michigan Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence, Vice Chair of the Democratic Women's Working Group. Of course, my panel here, Greg Carr, Chair of Department of Afro-American Studies, Howard University, Rena Shabarar, Republican political strategist and consultant, Spencer Overton, President of the Joint Center for Political and Economic Studies. Congresswoman Lawrence, Democratic Party should better get the message now, if they hadn't got it before, black women are their most important constituency.
Absolutely. Black women have shown up and showed out. And this is something, the message that I want my people to hear, black women and black men, is that our votes count. So often they say, why bother? It doesn't matter. So what if I vote? We have shown here, we've demonstrated that when we turn out at a rate higher than we did even for President Barack Obama, that we made a difference in this election. The party, our Democratic Party, I hear it all the time. They take us for granted. They only show up when they need a vote. This is a wake-up call for them as well. Because of all the hard work you do, you need to make sure that the demographics of your black community, your African-American community, what are their needs, what are you campaigning for, and what are we delivering when we talk about a legislative agenda. So this is such an amazing day. And also that consistent message of decency in Alabama was amazing. It was a common message of, it wasn't about, this bill and that bill. It was about bringing decency back to a community. And that's what we're craving right now in this country. We're all sitting around saying, what happened to America? What are we doing here? Where's this country of we the people, when we have an administration that's trying to define, well, it's us over here and you're over there, and we're in charge and we're going to suppress you. And it's like rolling back the clock on all of our civil rights movements. And I can tell you, women across this country feel like we're on the menu, and we're going to stand up and we're going to fight back, and black women are going to lead.
Rena, you made the point earlier in terms of Donald Trump constantly attacking black women. This is not the group you really, I said this during the campaign, you don't want to tick this group off.
No.
And now that black women have caused white women to wake up, except the white women in Alabama, again, now you got white women saying stay woke.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, it's a ripple effect, right? I think right now we're having a moment, we women, and I'm just interested to hear the Congresswoman's thoughts, though, because a lot of the work I have chosen to do in the past year and a half, election 2016 didn't go the way I wanted to go. Never Trump. I say we're still alive, our movement, but it's tough in an era where we feel like partisan politics are really getting the best of all of us. What can younger women of color do to get more engaged when we feel like the deck is already stacked against us? When we arrive, we're already thinking, I don't have daddy's connections, I don't have daddy's money, and I've got very few women who look like me and genuinely are reaching out and grabbing my hand. There are organizations cropping up, one of which I want to say, Higher Heights, is doing great work for young black women to get them more engaged politically. I encourage every young woman watching today, hit them up, look them up online. I'm proud to be part of the work of Vote, Run, Lead. But inevitably, I find that it's tough to get our younger women of color, and particularly black women, when they see me and they see me doing this work, they're reaching for me. They want to keep in touch because we women of color need to stay together. We're underrepresented. Please tell me your thoughts on that.
It's generational. So one of the things, we have the more senior black women in the community who are fighters, who are standing on the shoulders of the civil rights movement, and they are now understanding the power of reaching these young people, supporting them, educating them, pushing them out front. And Higher Heights is one of those examples. But black women who are, when it comes to health care, it's about, it's about my parents and my children. When it comes to education, I'm just right off of getting education. Now I'm worried about the education of my children. So the issues that they see that are under attack, equal pay. I'm out here, I've educated myself, I've done all the work, and you telling me that I cannot make as much as a man? So our younger black women are becoming more engaged. These are issues that are important to me. And the older women, we're saying, okay, baby, you got to come on, you got to step it up now. Come on, you got to get involved. You know what? I can't go to this meeting, but you need to be there and show up. And so I see that generational power happening, where before the younger women just counted on the older women. Now the younger black women are stepping up and saying, we're in this game too. Show us what to do.
How do we convert this into political power in the House? And here's what I mean by that. Ranking members of committees, subcommittees. We've got a lot of black women, Terry Sewell, Marcia Fudge, Maxine Waters, and she's already a ranking member of Maxine, but how do we ensure that leadership recognizes the value you all bring to the table? Because we appreciate you all being team players, and that's wonderful, but it's important for our community that people are at the table and are in leadership positions.
You know what's transformational is for black people to stop asking permission, stop asking for the request to sit at the table, to show up, be prepared, and come to the room and to do the work. And so often there was a generation that wanted the permission, wanted the invitation, and to do the hard work. Because the issues that we believe in as black women in America is what this country needs to transform it. And so we are finding our voice. And we are saying, like Maxine Waters, my goodness, Marcia Fudge, these women are not asking permission, and they're leading. When I came in as a freshman, oh man, the black women in the Congressional Black Caucus, okay, come on, let's get to work. What you doing? Are you going to that committee meeting? Are you showing up? It's a press conference. Stand there. Don't let them tell the world about issues, legislate, and there's no black person standing there because it looks like we don't care. And so that has been the push and the nurturing that we're seeing in Congress. And we are going to continue to do that. Some of the most powerful conversations I've had has been with the black women of members of Congress, and now I'm on the women's, the Democratic women, and the women are really empowered. This Me Too movement has shaken women to say, you know what? I have something to say, and you're going to listen to me, and we're going to make changes, not only here in the House, but in this country.
Congresswoman, of course, thank you for your work. And I want to tie the two states together for a minute. One of the folks who ended up in Michigan, of course, during the Great Migration was the great Rosa Parks, who came up there in her 40s. And we talk about this Me Too movement. Now, we're seeing in Alabama, the Secretary of State may slow walk this thing. Your colleague, Mitch McConnell, may try not to seat Jones. But in Michigan, Rick Snyder wants to keep a congressional seat open for a year or more.
With
What
no
can we do about that on the ground? Because what happened in Alabama yesterday was intergenerational. Those black women were intergenerational. What can the constituents in Michigan and people around the country, what do we need to know about what we can do on the ground to affect people like Rick Snyder, who are clearly have a political agenda and they don't care?
And the thing that, to me, the area for us to be awoke in, elections have consequences. This thing where I don't care, it doesn't matter. Flint Water taught us who you put in office will affect your life. Flint, Michigan was a government decision by a government that did not care and said it doesn't matter, just flip the water and poison 100,000 people. So here we are in Michigan. We are, every time I get a chance, I say, if you don't care, then you know what? The water that you drink, go to Flint. Tell me how much it doesn't matter. And so we have a lot of work to do, and to disenfranchise an entire 700,000 people for an entire year. But it's because of money. It's not because of the people. We save money because we're not going to have a special election.
Weekdays on TV One.
I will never lie to you.
Oh my God.
Roland Martin.
He doesn't want to talk to us. He wants to ignore us.
Uncensored.
Hell no. That ain't gonna cut it, boo.
Unapologetic.
No, that is fundamentally false. You are wrong.
Unfiltered.
He wants an America where we all look alike. He ain't talking about black people.
Unrelenting.
You better go work out, because you got a fight on your hands.
NewsOne Now with Roland Martin. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on TV One.